All right. Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah,
Smart.
it's from my dry cleaning.
Oh, good. All righty, guys, let's get started here. So, quick little announcement next week. Next week, guys, we are going to be, as a class, going to the Hilbert Museum. They are expecting us there. They're excited to have us.
So there's only 9 squares.
If anybody wants to go and get credit, I can get you to sign up the sheets here. I think I still have them.
Credit for what?
For participation for the class. Okay, do I have it? Do I have it? No.
I don't think Bryce is gonna feel like.
Do you have it?
I'm not worried.
Maybe I don't. Should I toss it right away? Oh, there's extras. Okay, there's extras. So I guess you can just fill this out. Yeah. Yeah, they're not pre-filled out. Sorry, but that will work. Yeah. So again, we are going to the Hilbert Museum. So if we type in Hilbert Museum, it pops right on up, and there it says Hilbert Museum of California Art. This is the spot. This is the place. This is what the front looks like. Oh, cool. There's a little video. Oh, you're not seeing it. Okay. People online probably aren't seeing it either. Oh no.
Yeah.
I lost the remote.
Okay. I'll just open it and go back. Oh, it doesn't do it. Yeah.
Cool, it's not what's going on.
I guess it picked up all the fountains. This used to be a white eraser. But see, no. It will trace. Are we using this sheets of paper?
Bigger sheets. We will not be using the painting paper. So bigger the sheets, the better.
I have to get something from the front. Okay.
Okay, let's see what happens when I flip this. Work. Okay, I'm gonna try to flip this around here. Yep, give me a second. There it goes. All right, that one's working. There we go. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, guys. So this is where we're going to be meeting up. This is the Hilbert Museum of California Art. Found it through one Google search. I just typed in Hilbert Museum, spelled like it sounds, Hilbert, museum, the word. And it came right on up, and I could just click on directions, and that'll take me on over. But there's the actual address, 167 North Atchison Street, Orange, California. And I would recommend carpooling. Just makes parking for everybody easier. Yeah, they have some street parking around there. It's like a little neighborhood over here. You can park in the backside, but also there's a little parking lot here that's free. They have a streamlined diner area. I think all this parking over here is just for the diner, but I don't know. I've never seen anybody getting towed, but if you want to take a challenge.
Hilbert Museum?
Yes, this is happening next week.
There's a big parking structure, it's on Lemon Street.
Where is it?
And it's about maybe a 3-minute walk.
Oh, there it is. There's Lemon Street right
It's
there.
all free, it's really cool.
Okay. Where is it? Is it down over here? Where is it?
3 for my other painting.
I'm looking down Lemon Street. I don't know. Is it over here? Yeah, I'm just gonna type in parking. Convenient and free. Oh, here it is. So 130 North Lemon Street. So if you're able to walk, I would say try to park there just to save parking. There's handicap parking right next to the entrance, so you shouldn't have problems with that. So I would, I'm gonna park here so somebody else can get that parking spot. Yeah, this is. Let's see, get a better image. There it is. Oh yeah, it's so close. It's literally right next door. So it's not a bad walk at all. Maybe around the block. It's about the same as walking to the farthest parking spot here. But there's parking right here. So if you want to go early, get a good spot.
Wait, but what's this about? What were you saying on?
The Hilbert Museum parking.
Oh, okay.
There's one right here on Lemon Street.
And then where are we meeting at when we go there?
There's the parking lot. Okay, cool. And then I believe. Oh, and yeah, it's like right behind it. Okay, not bad. That's pretty close. And let's see. There it is. There's the Hilbert Museum. There's the parking lot. Oh, that's so close. That's very close.
Where's let's see.
But you can also park on the street here. Whoa, where did I go? Okay, so I think this is the museum. Yeah, there's the museum. So there's parking in the back here. Thank you so much. Awesome. And then, there's parking in the street here, and, this is all the museum here. It's changed quite a bit, I think. This is kind of old. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is the back side. So there's the museum, and you can park all along the street here. Shouldn't have any problems because it's like the middle of the day. Okay, we'll just kind of slip through back in time. So interesting. So there's the other parking lot right there with the. This is the front of the museum. They have their big old exhibit thing here, and some handicap spots here should be available. So yeah, really amazing museum. Can't wait to share it with you guys. And it's just gonna be kind of a fun day to share art together and maybe be surprised with something that you might be drawn to, or not drawn to.
And we're gonna draw while we're in there?
I'm gonna kind of leave it up to you guys. You can just take it as an enjoyable afternoon in the museum. You know, what I've been doing is I bring my phone with me and I ask questions about the artworks that I'm drawn to. You know, ask about how is it made, or who is this artist, or what is their world like that they live in. I have a little pamphlet if you want to kind of do some extra research, kind of dive in deeper and learn more about these artists that you might be drawn to, that you might want to work like. But it's mainly just to kind of get artworks that might impact the way you want to work. You know, some artworks to look up to. All right, so that's gonna be next week. Very fun. You guys excited? Good stuff. All right, yeah. Does anyone have anything to say about the field trip or after the field trip or anything like that? Okay. And what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. Shoot, I was gonna say something else. I know normal class we go until 4:50, but you know, these classes, like if you want to stay there for longer, you can stay there for longer. If you want to leave early, you can leave there early. But I hope that you get something out of it. Yeah.
Are we gonna make here at 1, or we need to be here at 1?
We're gonna be there at 1, and then I usually say until like 3:30 is like a good time. I'm gonna bring my sketchbook and pencil. Just to, what I like to do is I like to look at paintings and stuff and draw from them, kind of. But sometimes I just like to stare and look at the artwork and the textures and kind of take something else out of it. So either way, you're going to get something out of it, however you want to spend your time. The museum does ask that we don't paint, so no painting indoors. No charcoals. I know I got you guys. I know you guys got charcoals, but don't bring charcoals, powdery things, oil pastels, Sharpies, pens. Basically, pencil only. Yeah. No pens. No ink. Yeah. You might be able to get by with colored pencils. I don't think they'll stop you. I think that's kind of like a loophole because it's kind of a pencil, kind of not. So you can kind of get away with that maybe, but don't say I did. Don't say I told you. So I don't think they care. I don't think they're. I don't know. They care about their works, not getting Sharpie on them or stuff like that. But yeah, yeah. Smaller sketchbooks probably be easier to carry around than a big one, but okay. All right. Good. Okay.
Do they have like a lot of benches or chairs to sit in there?
No, it's really more a walking
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Not like, the big museum, they'll have the occasional
Yeah.
place where you can sit. It's a small.
Yeah, it's very small. Yeah.
But if you bring a walker with a seat, then you'll always have
Yeah,
a seat.
walker with a seat or
They call them, they said it was totally water. No problem.
yeah, totally. Cool. Walker compatible. So I don't know if they have wheelchairs. Sometimes these places will give you a wheelchair if you want to sit. But yeah, there's places to sit outside between the museums. I think there might be a few spots that you can sit.
I
It's
think in the lobby,
yeah.
but not in the main areas where
Really?
they display their art. But in the lobby, I think
Yeah.
there's a couple of chairs.
Okay. Yeah. There's like a nice little coffee shop. So if you wanted to, you can always take pictures. Maybe take those pictures to the coffee shop or something. Yeah. Yeah. That I don't know. Yeah. I don't think there's too many places to sit. Think about that. Yeah. So, but again, it can be a shorter time if you can't be there for long. It's okay. Alrighty then. Little art news. Shoot. Sorry, I was just looking at my hand this whole time. People online, you guys can watch online. It says the audio is garbling. Okay. Well. Let's hope that doesn't continue. I don't know how to fix that. That's something that has to do with internet. Okay, yeah, I got good internet, so hopefully it'll be fixed. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go to share here. Okay. Whoa. Alrighty. So last week we talked about Marc Chagall. Another artist that I am loving is this guy David Hockney, who, if you guys,
He just passed away.
yes, it's so sad. I know somebody mentioned in my class, but I feel like I had to mention it because it's like he's such an amazing painter, and his use of color and his he makes
David Hockney. He chose
his works are so positive. I feel that they're really quite beautiful. British artist. He's just fearless with color, and just love the way he works. So,
Wasn't he like 90 or something?
huh?
Wasn't he like 90?
He was really old. Yeah, he was really
But
old.
he was still at it.
Yeah, he was. He was making stuff to the last day. I wonder what his last work was, but
He had a net worth of 159.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
So
he's
what
doing
was he
good.
starting?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get right on into it. Today we're going to be talking about principles of art, and we're going to be playing around with charcoal. So let's go start off with the charcoal. Let's just get right into it. We're gonna start with charcoal, and then I'll kind of give a little demo of some principles of art. All right. Okay. Ooh, stop. Oh wait. No. Sorry, everyone's tripping out right now. Okay. All right. So does everyone have out your charcoal and erasers and paper? Okay. All good? Okay. So we have a few. We have a few things here. We have charcoal?
Eraser?
Sure. Do you need charcoal too?
I have eraser.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
She needs one too? Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I have so many. It's kind of, yeah. But that'll be here for you. Hello. If you want to watch, you can watch. Yeah, I know, a little gopher. Okay, so we got charcoals. Let's talk about charcoals. So we have two charcoals here. This is what you call condensed charcoal. And we won't be using this too much today, but this stuff is, I mainly use it for kind of getting those darks down, but you can kind of see how this might look like. There's one line, there's a thick line, and shoot, I'm gonna get some paper towels actually. You need thick towels? I think everyone.
Doesn't look like there's any, but I've got some. Right. I don't have these. I can share. I'll share. Yes. I'll share. I have a couple here.
You got paper towels?
Whatever you need.
Alright, who needs paper towels? Everyone got napkin or paper towels?
Yes.
Awesome. Napkins, paper towels? I'll talk about it. You got napkins, paper towels, napkins, you got napkins. What do you got? You got napkins. Good. Napkins. So much. I'll back to the front desk.
Sure, I'll give you my bill later.
Anyway, nothing in life is free. Okay.
That was a good idea. I'm so surprised they don't have them in there.
They should. They just, I don't know, there's some new people taking care of things, so. Yeah.
Probably the first class, they use it for class.
All right.
Yeah, just surprised.
So this is compressed charcoal, and so you can go ahead and do a thin line at the top and a thick line. So the thin line, you kind of hold it like pencil, like you usually do, kind of pointing at that one point. But for this thick line, you're kind of picking it up like this, and you kind of hold it like you're seasoning a steak or something. And that way you can kind of rotate it as you draw. So you can kind of get thick or thin, or, you know, kind of mix things up. It's kind of cool, some of the things you can do. All right. Yeah.
How did you get that twisty line on the bottom?
That's just by twisting it as I draw my line. So I'm like kind of twisting it as I go, rotating it.
Yeah, there, I got it.
But it's all about how you hold it. The only way you can do that is by holding it like this.
Yeah.
If you hold it like this, you know, good luck. You're not gonna. It's not gonna work. Yeah. Now this is condensed charcoal, which means, I mean, you could still blend it. So try blending it. And blend it all together if I wanted to. And you got 2 erasers. Hopefully. If you have just one, that's okay, but I'll show you 2. You have your plastic eraser or your rubber eraser, you know, classic stuff that you use in school, and that will work with your charcoal. And you can draw right on top of this stuff. And then you got your kneaded eraser, which you can mold to certain shapes. So you can kind of make certain lines if you wanted to. But it does kind of smush together depending on quality of your kneaded eraser. But I mean, I think the kneaded eraser is good for like really broad surfaces. It doesn't create a big mess, you know, like you don't get like all the pencil shavings or eraser shavings. It's really fun to fidget with too. Yeah. So you can kind of erase right into it.
happens if you try to knead it up in charcoal?
So the nice thing about the kneaded eraser is that you might pick up as much charcoal as you physically possible, and your charcoal might get all over this thing. It might cover every single surface, but that's not the end of the world because it's called a kneaded eraser for a reason. You can knead it over and fold it over again, fold it over again, and over and over, and eventually you'll have a much cleaner eraser again. And this is also good to like wash your hands. Like I kind of hold it and fidget with it, and it like washes my hands. So it kind of gets all that charcoal dust onto here. Yeah. But this stuff doesn't dry out. You can keep it out. You don't need to keep it in a bag. I mean, putting it in a bag is a good idea. Just to make sure that stuff doesn't get stuck in there. But yeah. Also roll it. I don't know. It's good for fidgeting. You could sculpt with it too. But as you can see, this compressed charcoal doesn't quite come off all the way all the time. So let's try our lovely vine charcoal. All right. So again, with this vine charcoal, you can draw with it like a pencil. Let's draw a few lines. Let's draw 3 different lines just with the point. So we got one straight line from one point to the other. To get a good straight line, try not to have your palm touching the paper, because if you do that, you can be inchworming, and it's gonna. Oh. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a little rough. Maybe you can do that on purpose. You know, it creates a kind of lively line or a breakage of line. But if you just kind of hovered your hand and you kind of had your elbow lifted up and you kind of have that one motion just going woo, you're going to get a much nicer line. Kind of also, you can kind of have a starting point and ending point and kind of. It's a really good practice just to do that all over your paper. So maybe, let's say 5 lines. 5 lines final. I'll do 5 lines straight. Confident. Can't go wrong. Easy peasy. Okay. And you can also do lines like zigzags. You can do swirls. You can do cross hatching, where you just kind of do these parallel lines all together. Well, this is a hatch. Some people draw like this too, because you can kind of control how thick it is, and maybe even, you know, where it goes and ends. You know, I can get that zigzag line, kind of shade it in. And just like the other one, we can take the side of it, and this is where you kind of break it in half, or like I find like 2 inches, 3 inches to be really good. This is really big. So don't be afraid to break it in half, even if you're borrowing my piece, that's okay. This is like a good size. I like this size. And this is basically like the thickness of a brush, you know? If you're using a big thick brush, you're now using the side there. And you can get that big wide side there. There we go. And just like painting with watercolor, you can kind of control your edges. So remember how we saw with painting how we can have that hard edge and then we can kind of blend it out there to make a soft edge on one side? I can use that. I can do that with my what's it called? Uh, paper towel. Yeah, paper towel. Yes. Thank you. This job's hard for me. You can see here now I got a nice hill here. It's a nice solid fill. And then I have that like opening there where it's like that hard edge. So you know that this is all kind of one piece. And of course you can also blend everything too. Do it. You gotta blend everything. Ruin this page. All the work you just did, blend it all in. Fearless. You can make more. Huh? Yeah, this is called toning. Yeah, you're right. This is a good way to start a drawing, actually. So once everybody's toned the whole paper, huh? So for this, pull it apart and then put it back together. Pull just like taffy. Kind of pull it back together and then it's clean again.
It feels like you're playing with like a gun almost, like a gun.
I've never done that. Maybe it's similar. Maybe it's the same stuff. I don't know. Silly putty? No. It doesn't bounce like silly putty. Silly putty bounces. I don't think this stuff bounces.
No, I've been trying.
Okay, thank you.
Sit on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Think how much more they'd tell us if they actually have bounds.
Yeah, maybe. All right. So, did we blend all the work that we just did? You got to. You have to. I'm gonna wait till everybody blends all the work that you did. Oh, you got it wet? Oh. So, did you switch to the willow charcoal, or are you even using the condensed? That's the reason. You can see here, this is the condensed charcoal, and it's not going anywhere. It's just stuck to things. This is a condensed charcoal. This is willow charcoal. Willow charcoal is much more agile. You can erase it, you can move it around, blend it better. Here, you can use mine. I have extra. Sure. Yes. Yeah. I find 1 inch is a good size. Alright. So once you have it all blended out here, shoot. You can get your eraser and you can draw a big old circle here. And it's not gonna be perfect, but it's pretty good. And if you can't see it, make everything else darker. can blend everything out so I don't see all those brush strokes or those lines that I drew. It just becomes one surface. Now I got the moon.
Which eraser did you use for that moon?
This one I just used this one mostly. I did push it more with this eraser, but it didn't do much. And so the only way to make it brighter is by making everything else darker. So, all right. Here, I'm gonna do kind of a Simon Says thing. We'll start with a new paper. I know. Well, it's because some people. Here, I'm gonna start on a new page, just so everyone can follow along. Okay, let's just flip her over. Alrighty. Okay, guys, let's get a new page out. And we're gonna do kind of a game here. I'm gonna draw a thing, and then you draw the thing. Okay? You guys ready? Okay. Let me know. You ready? Yeah? Okay. New page, empty page. We got two materials. We got our willow charcoal, and we got our erasers, right? Alright. Right in the middle of the page, we're gonna draw a little square. About 2 inches. And I can do that with just 2 swipes. Using the wide side. Oh, there. Okay, for that, you could get thicker willow charcoal. So maybe invest. There's thicker willow charcoal. Sorry. Yeah, maybe invest in some thicker willow charcoal. Okay. Oh no. All right. Now let's make it bigger. So let's double the size here. Just gonna color it all the way in. Maybe I'll blend it. Okay. I have it pretty big. This is about the size of my palm. If I have my hand in the size of a fist, that's how big it should be. So check with your fist. Does it fit? All right. You guys ready? All right. Now I want you guys to turn this into a circle with an eraser. So I'm going to use the eraser, kind of draw that circle out, kind of carve away those sides, and turn it into a circle.
I just realized how cool this is.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. And I erased everything outside of that square, so it becomes kind of a circle there. Not perfect, but that's okay. We don't need perfection right now. If you're trying to make a perfect circle, stop. We don't need perfect. All right. And all right. Now I want you guys to draw a very small man in the middle. I'm going to use my eraser of this little stick figure. So right in the middle, this little man, draw head, body, 2 legs, 2 arms.
Your stick figures look really good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they're kind of proportional. And if it's too small, if you can't fit it, grow your circle. Grow your circle. Look at that. I just grew my circle. Look at that. That's how quick it is. If your circle is too small, grow it. Add on to it. It does a few things to the little man. It makes him feel even smaller. All right.
He's probably hearing all philosophical inside that circle right now.
Yeah, he's all like the void. All right.
What is the meaning of life?
You guys ready?
Am I only at a piece of tape or do I exist? If I go out with you.
Okay. So let's make him bigger. So I'm gonna draw him all the way up close. This is gonna be his head now. I just wiped away the little man into a circle, and I'm gonna put him right up in your face. And I'm gonna draw a happy face. He's happy to meet you. Okay. All right. And you know what? I'm gonna make this into a mountain range. So I'm gonna go swipe my eraser right on top of his face there. Nice little nook, and I'm just gonna erase the sky because skies are so bright. And then right on top of his face, I'm gonna add a little mountain range. And I can wipe away his body like he never existed. Blend it in. He's just gone. And you know what? Let's make a tree. I did annihilate him, but I'll bring him back. So maybe I'll draw a tree coming from the ground. Just, I guess there's some very dark bark. And maybe I'll make this tree square. maybe I'll just leave it rough because it's a tree.
Looks like cotton candy.
A little bit.
Look at the compartments, the nails. The nails are great.
The nails.
I think the willow.
Oh no. All right, and maybe I'll add a little road. Now you might be thinking I could draw a road, but let's erase a road because you're gonna be able to see it better on this dark. Maybe I'll make it go smaller, so it's all gonna kind of go out to one point. So it's gonna get wider. And if I drew it too thin, I just draw it back in. There. Cool. Maybe I'll draw, I mean, we could just kind of make things up here. Maybe there's a white blanket. And there's a little man here. Stick figure body leaning. There's the head. Leg. Leg. And maybe he's reading a book. Pretty good. Maybe I want him to be brighter. So that's kind of the power of charcoal. It's that ability to move and warp and change things like the shape of the tree, the location of these mountains here. You just kind of wipe away entire things and just change everything up as you go. So yeah, now I'm just kind of having some fun. So this is kind of getting lost in it. So let's see. I'm just having fun. So I'm gonna stop here. Now, the reason why you have condensed charcoal is so that you can push those shadows even more. So later on, when you get more refined, you know, you can kind of finally get to this charcoal here, which is the condensed charcoal, and this is going to be for those dark shadows. And this can be more permanent. As you saw before, it's going to, you can't really erase it away, so yeah. Yeah, sure. All right. How's that looking, guys? You feeling more confident with this? It's fun to kind of alter and move things around. That's kind of what we're talking about today, is moving around elements and kind of being free to tell stories that way. We'll go more into what's it called? Throw it all in a circle. All right, so let's go take a 10-minute break. Yeah. All right. So we'll go take a quick 10-minute break. Be back at 2:10. So get some water, get some stuff, and then I'm gonna talk about principles of art it always kind of cleans off. See?
You use the kneaded eraser.
Yeah, I'm using the kneaded eraser. Works pretty good. Okay.
Is there a spray or something that keeps it on your paper?
Afterwards, there are some sprays that help, but I don't think there's anything that's perfect foolproof. But to me, charcoal is for rough drafts. It's for getting down ideas, alternating, sizes and shapes of things to get to where you want to be in your image. And to take what you learned with the charcoal into your paintings are going to be more permanent. So you can take all these values and stuff that you use here and basically paint it. But yeah, there is the fixative spray. There's the cheap stuff that's like aerosol, and then there's the expensive stuff that is this stuff. And to use this is Spectra Fix. You can spray it real far. That basically solidifies it. But it's like, I don't know if I wanted that.
The $25. The $8 one versus $25 one.
Yeah, the $25 one you can spray inside. The $8 one you got to take outside. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty handy. It's pretty cool. I'm glad that I bought it. I haven't regretted it. I've never been like, I spent too much money on that. I hate that. Mhm.
consistency on it at all.
Okay.
But it's between, I would say it's between acrylic and watercolor, but I just don't like that consistency.
Okay.
So, and I feel I would use a lot more of it than necessary, and I just don't want to work with it.
Okay.
So,
So
if anybody wants,
sure.
it's, these two, they'd be 20 bucks.
I feel like Amazon would be pretty good about you returning things. And within 30 days.
Yeah, but see, I already put this in. It's already.
Yeah.
They don't ask questions, you just.
I know, but I already. Okay. It's really? Yes, I do. And very few times.
But even if you write down that you don't like the consistency.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you don't have one of those yet? Oh, you should definitely.
Yeah, see, I don't.
And it's all the same paint that you have too. So it wouldn't be far off. I'd say. Sure. Sure. Yeah. So give it a try. Then you get your full money back. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I feel like you haven't even touched it yet. Yeah. It's tricky because it's like if you work too much into it, like wet on wet on wet, then it kind of comes back to life. But there's ways to work with it where you can paint more softly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No worries. Well, that's too bad. I feel like I haven't even taught anything to do with gouache yet. But, alright. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, stick with what speaks to you. Yeah. And this is a 4, and this is not. So, Yeah.
and that is,
This is a great material.
yeah, it is.
Acrylic's really fun. I use it too. But
And then I use 8
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yeah. That one just, I don't know, it just, so anyway, yeah, got, and these are just a few of many that I've done. I like it.
I'm able to get this kind of consistency with the block.
Yeah,
I've worked with it. Do stuff like this.
I know, but then, well, this is a whole different process.
Right.
Because the
Yeah.
background and then you're drawing, you know, it's like two steps, but it's pretty quick. But anyway,
Yeah, I love using different materials because it gets you to think
I do.
differently
I do
about
too.
each material, and then you start treating other materials like the other materials, and then interesting things happen when you do that. So it's because you're focusing on,
Because I've learned
acrylic
all the time
and
different
paint,
stuff.
and having those kind of mix and mingle and see how they work together. Good things happen with that. Yeah. So I'm glad that you tried it and you gave it a really good go.
Because I have lots of meetings going.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah. Don't feel overwhelmed. That's,
No, you said it was pretty, and I thought, oh, did I see it on my
I thought you were laughing when you said maybe I was saying.
No, I was the one who said, she looked at this and said, oh, pretty, and I
all right. All right. Are we off of our break? I kind of lost track of time. Alrighty, guys. So I'm gonna give a hopefully quick presentation on the principles of art, and then I'll let you guys free. If you guys want to goof around with the what's it called? Charcoal. Thank you. uh, I know I'm terrible. But I'm gonna go ahead and give a quick thing about the principles of art. But afterwards, I have a fun little challenge, and that is a moment where you were fascinated by something within the last week. So kind of think about that. As I'm talking about the principles of art, and then we're gonna kind of build a fun little charcoal silhouette drawing. Emphasis on silhouette, because that's kind of everything that we see is kind of a silhouette. What I mean by that is, we are all filled with a value. We are all filled with, that we don't see lines around us ever. There's no such thing as lines in reality. If you see my hand here, you don't see lines, you see my hand, right? So a good practice to get used to doing, especially with charcoal. There we go. Especially with charcoal is, kind of drawing your hand within the form, you can kind of see your palm here as a square. And then kind of building out the fingers like little rectangles. So, this is kind of a way of thinking.
rather than, outlining everything, trying to kind of draw things just with shape and form. This is a really good way to kind of practice. And so that's kind of what we're looking at here, whether that's a dark hand on a white background or a dark background and a bright hand. This is one of the principles. This is one of the first principles we have. This is we got. Ooh, we'll do this. There we go. So it's kind of finding those shapes and things, because rather than, like let's say we had a dark background and you're like, I'm going to draw a hand in there. And if you just drew an outline of a hand, it's going to be lost, right? Because you can't really see it. Because that hand is going to have like an overall color to it. It's going to have an overall value to it. Sometimes we do kind of blend in. Maybe my hand is very bright, or maybe my hand is on a surface that is very close to my skin color. I don't know, maybe like this. Like my hand is pretty close to that this tone. If I was colorblind, it's very similar. And this is probably when you kind of see kind of lines kind of showing up, because it's kind of like these are areas where light doesn't get in. And that's the only time that you really get to see kind of bits of line, is because of the shadow. Anyways, so the best way to have something stand out is not with an outline. An outline can help, and it's a graphic thing. You can do it, but it mostly comes out from that contrast. So this is one of the principles of design, and that's contrast. And this is basically just looking at value, but contrast could also mean color. So like if there was, I guess that this is a pretty decent example, is kind of that difference between, of course, the values of the shadows within my hand definitely help you differentiate between my hand and the background. But if the values were all the same, you'd be able to see that my hand is a little pinker, and then this background's a little more grayer. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're good. All right. So I'm just going to pull up the principles of design here. So yeah, contrast is a powerful tool. It could also mean in your image two opposites. It could be like all about subject-wise. So let's say, what's a contrasting subject? Day and night. Perfect. What else? Black and white. Okay. Well, there's a values. Yeah. Huh? Salt and pepper. Yeah. Huh? Happiness and sadness. Yeah. Yeah. Life and death, and hot and cold, and yeah. So yeah. Okay. You guys got it down. Yes, contrast. So having those opposites, having them next to each other, fire and ice, hot and cold. Also for colors, you can do hot colors like orange, red, yellow, certain colors. If you there's different tones for that. And then cools like blues and greens and purples, which sometimes can be warm. They get in a whole color theory thing. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, kind of having those contrasts against each other.
The one teacher like was she makes like ice skating outfits, and, you know, for a living. And the one side was fire, and the other side was ice. It was cool, like red, and then
Right.
blue. And she's gonna do one side with like silvery icicles, and the other side with like red.
It's dramatic when you see them together. Let me see. Let's see. I think David Hockney definitely understood contrast of colors and how they would just kind of bounce and create life, you know, with that red and that green, very contrasting colors. Those are the opposites, complementaries of green and red. And if they were mixed together, they'd become like a brown. But when they're next to each other, it creates a lot of energy between them. It's a very dramatic thing that happens elementally, and these are practices that you can do in your own artwork. You know, to basically make your artwork stand out. So the principles of art. I'm sorry, I feel like I skipped through this. But the principles of art are how you use the elements of art. So if you have elements of art like line, shape, form, space, color, value, texture, it's a good list for elements. Some issues that I have with other stuff, but you can see here how they're used within all of them kind of can differ and make you feel different ways when they're being used. All right, so yes, I have some great examples here we'll be looking at. Okay, so all right, so we went through contrast, and oftentimes artists will use more than one principle to kind of build their work up. So having these in mind, or maybe you're working on an artwork of a story through your life or something like that, and it just something seems kind of boring, maybe it seems kind of mundane, you know, go through the principles of design, have those things, and just be like, oh, emphasis. I painted a nice bush here, but there's nothing I'm quite looking at. So it's like maybe I could add that in there, or you know. Okay, so let's just get through it. Again, using those elements of art. I like having this up.
What is that thing right there with the tone that principles of the picture of the principles of design?
Yeah. It's this here.
No. Okay, so to the left, under the principles of design, there's this really cool.
Yes. Okay. So this.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Are those angels with wings? And
Yeah. So this is Gustave Doré. This is one of my favorite artists. Well, group of artists. Okay. Let's talk. Why are all of these lists bad? This upsets me. Okay, so there is balance in artwork. So let's just there. Oh gosh, this is upsetting.
why are they bad?
I just don't like the order that they're in.
Oh.
I'm used to teaching them in a certain order. So balance. I'm gonna go with balance first here. So we talked about a contrast, which this piece definitely has contrast. We have sky and the ground. Opposites, contrasting. We have humans and gods or angels in the sky. These are angels. Crazy thing is that this is all black and white. You can see some of the cross hatchings here. So this is all black and white, line work, ink work. These are prints. This is from Dante's Inferno. This is like the last page after they went through like hell. Basically, they arrive to heaven. But in balance, there's two forms of balance. There's symmetrical balance, which is just like this. So in this example, we have balance symmetry here, but we also will have almost radial symmetry, where it's symmetrical in all ways because it's a perfect circle. Compared to another work.
Is that light on the bottom supposed to be like a bit of hell or a sun or what is?
The light in the center there?
Yeah.
I believe that would probably be God. I never read it. I could be wrong.
Oh, we had to read it in seminary.
Oh, okay. Alright, this is all pretty symmetrical. Okay. Here's a good example of asymmetrical. This is Andrew Wyeth. Also works with egg tempera paints. It's kind of like watercolors, but with actually egg yolk. Creates this wild texture, and he's a master, absolute master at what he does. But here it is very asymmetrical. If we were to draw a line straight down the middle, it's balanced in a way because there's a big, heavy black house over here that's very dark, and then there's a full human figure over here, off to the left-hand side. And this creates a very interesting and dynamic way of drawing things. So if your piece is feeling very still and not dynamic, try throwing something off and adjusting things on the other side. Let me show you. I'm going to draw it out. Looking at art is one thing, doing art is another. Okay. So somebody want to give me, I guess I'll say, I saw something fascinating this week. I saw, what did I see? I saw an orchestra play this last week. Denise invited the class to go, and I went, and I saw music play, and I saw some kid crying in front of me, which was annoying. But I saw all the orchestra play together. Saw people in orchestra playing music, and I could just have, the one man playing in the orchestra, perfectly balanced. So there's the man who's, telling people what to do, and then everyone's kind of playing in the orchestra, right?
Oh, and then you have the man who's controlling your music.
Yeah, the conductor.
The conductor and then the kids with no sound, they're just like watching. Like you almost have opposites. The man, the conductor, who's in charge of everything, has the power and authority, and then you have the kid crying, who's just kind of
anything. It's just an orchestra playing music. And, you know, they have the violins here and everything. But I'm just gonna draw like the people here, all playing instruments. This is a very symmetrical, balanced painting, and it's very kind of perfect and holy, and like, wow, they're all playing amazingly. And I can emphasize that with lines and shapes. So I have a whole shape here of the orchestra, and I'm emphasizing that shape because this is not real. I'm just playing around with the design. But let's say I wanted to say this was a very dramatic part of the song where they're playing very fast and intense. So maybe I'll have the conductor flipping his hair up, you know, having his hands up, and I'll have movement, but odd movement to it. And then I'm gonna have the whole orchestra off to the side, off kilter. So this is the horizon here. And you want to think about the horizon when you're creating a work because, yeah, I'm going to make this darker. I'm going to make this man light. So he stands out. Think about contrast. There's his arms. Dun, 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 and he's playing. There's his hair.
What kind of music do they play?
Classical. There's an orchestra. Yeah. So there's the man. I don't know. Or maybe I'll change it out even more. Okay, color this in here. There, I love this. Yes, this is good. There's the guy, there's the conductor with his bow tie. And there's his pants, and there's everyone playing. There, and they have violins. Now, this is an exciting scene because the horizon is no longer symmetrical because, you know, typical horizons flat, that's still symmetrical. Even if you had a person over here and a person over here who's smaller, that's asymmetrical. It's still pretty peaceful because that horizon's still. But if you threw that horizon way off, woo! Now you have excitement, like something wild is happening, and you see this in like rock bands and stuff like that. You know, like don't be afraid to throw everything off kilter if your story needs it.
Looks like he's on the Titanic with Richards in the video.
It's a little chaotic, right? But that was how the music was. It was a very dramatic moment. It's very like dun 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 dun, you know? So it's ways you can play around with balance. These are good other things too. So let's talk about them. Pattern. So pattern can help musically. Hello. So you can create pattern multiple ways. You can create pattern within your own image, whether that be through shapes. So, you know, I have this big, huge half circle shape. I think maybe we'll look at some masters for shape and pattern. One of my favorites, NC Wyeth. I always bring him up. Where are we at? So example here, or let's do one that I know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was amazing. I love his use of color. He's an illustrator, kind of golden age of illustration, kind of. I think he was from before Norman Rockwell.
His colors are amazing on the way. Wow.
I'm trying to find a good one. Oh man. Okay, whatever. We'll just use this one. Alright, here, I'll just open this up. This is on our class reference.
1917.
1917, yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna draw right on top of this.
What was his medium of figurating?
So this is oils. He used oil paintings, and he did massive oil paintings for these things. All right, and so pattern. So you can see here, he doesn't have just one, but two archers, and look here. I mean, he kind of repeats the same kind of zigzaggy line of the archers. He'll find ways to repeat the same kind of patterns here in shapes. Like, what is this here? Does this look like a hood? Does this look like the figures here? Look at that. Do you see that? Oh, shoot. See that? So it's the same kind of shape here. And he's reusing it over and over again so many times. And it creates this kind of cohesive unity, which is another principles. As you can see, everything kind of touches. But having that pattern of shape, even if it's not even a realistic kind of shape, look at this. There's another rock over here that also has that same shape. Now this is getting annoying. But see here, boop, boop. In the shadows, they're kind of repeated. So it's just really wild how many times this kind of slick arrow kind of shape is repeated. What's he trying to say with that? Even the lightness, the light that itself, it looks like a dagger of an arrow. And he's using that one shape over and over and over again. Not even really. So it's really cool where you can find pattern. He's also using pattern in the way he's using his brush strokes, the way he's painting the grass, tap, 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 swipe, 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 flower, 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 flower. Yeah. So we got pattern here.
Isn't that arrow shape also in the tree? Like where?
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah. So it's a good way to practice is to kind of have that shape repeat over and over again. And you can find it in nature too, or you can kind of enhance it in nature. With nature, with rocks and trees, those can be amorphic. Those can be altered like crazy because if you ever saw a rock and you drew a rock wrong, everybody would be like, that's a believable rock, because rocks don't have a single form. Same with trees, same with grasses, same with hair. So with those are opportunities to kind of express those shapes and stories through those shapes. I think NC Wise is a master at. It's so interesting to see him work. And he probably started with charcoal drawing at first, and then he kind of built it into a painting. Contrast, we talked about it. Emphasis. emphasis kind of goes into everything. So it's like, how is he using pattern to emphasize your main subject? In this case, we have the main subject. We got Robin Hood, or and his troops. I think this is Robin Hood. Am I right? Okay. And yeah. And his merry men. Okay. Cool. I have a book with NCYF's work I got right here. If you want to check it out, Treasure Island. Yes, he did Treasure Island. Yeah. Some really awesome works. So cool. I love the inner pages. Yeah, it's beautiful, wonderful. Yeah, contrast, emphasis. Yeah, so emphasizing. So how would you emphasize that we should care about and look at these guys? I mean, they're in the shadows. Shouldn't they be hidden? How do we see them so easily? There's a few ways. You can look at the contrast. You know, there's a big, huge patch of blue, bright sky. While they're in the shadows, their skins are darker. They're not brightly skinned and brightly green. Even though they're wearing really bright colors, they're still in the shadows. These are dark, murky colors. And right around them, look at this contrast. The bright red faces versus green hoods. Right in the middle of this very bright patch of sunny sky, hiding in the shadows. That's how we can see them. And also, everything's green, everything's nature. They're the only human figures here. So, of course, they're going to be emphasized through that. All right, check my bonds. Scale. I have another piece by NCY you can look at. I mean, that is a pretty good piece for scale. We've talked about scale a little bit with Marc Chagall, and you know, the fact that you don't need to draw a person over the whole image to make them important. You know, you can draw them small, but you can have them also next to certain objects to make them feel bigger. That's a good example. Here he has drawn this figure here, painted this figure. Is it?
Yeah, I looked him up. He looks like that.
Awesome.
Right before he died.
Yeah. But he's placing himself right next to these really massive things. And there's also scale as far as what's taller than you and what's shorter than you. Here he placed himself below all this nature and all these giant things, even though he himself is larger than these clouds. He's larger than these trees, or he's bigger than this landscape. But at the same time, he's still below them. He's still not as high as these things are. So these are kind of overpowering. Not overpowering, but they are more powerful because they're taller. They're leaning over him. And so there's something to be said there, I think. Huh? Yeah. Weightlessness. I mean, these trees are massive, heavy things that, you know, if they fell, could crush somebody. But he painted them and drew them with these round shapes, like balloons, rounds. You know, anytime you see roundness, you think of babies, or you think of billowy clouds, or balloons. Weightless things are round. And he's drawing these big trees with all those shapes. Yeah. And also these colors too. Very light colors, they're not heavy colors. Darker colors like black, they're heavy. And we imagine them to be heavy. And he doesn't color these these guys with dark colors. He doesn't have high contrast stuff except down here. Maybe there's a big old black rock down there. Maybe that's going to ground things. He's dark himself. He's probably the heaviest object here.
I love his big files.
Yeah, it's really cool. This is a beautiful piece. I wonder if this.
He
I don't know.
certainly has a positive outlook on life.
Yeah,
I just went on his website. You know, it just died last week.
yeah.
It has Love Life in like rainbow colors.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Was that? I wonder if that was his last work. I'm curious. I can also be a downer.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise known as Unity. It's the same thing. I don't know why they have both, but it's about well they're used together. You know, this feels like it's put together. Like it doesn't feel like he just copy and pasted a photograph and stuck it on top of a painting. That would not be a unified piece. But so, yeah, like if this was a final piece, like if this was a final painting, like he would kind of stand out. As far as it would not feel like a unified piece because he's like a photographic person in this painting. I know this is a photo, but let's say that this was a painting. I don't know if it would be unified. But maybe the fact that he's wearing a yellow flower and there's like a field of yellow flowers, now it feels unified.
And the red tie with colors.
Yeah, it does feel unified. Yeah. But if he didn't have that stuff on, he was just some random dude maybe wearing a, I don't know.
You know, it's
Matches
really
with
cool
everybody.
with dress though. You ever seen the shorts and the t-shirt?
Yeah, or maybe it's like somebody like wearing all goth stuff, like all black stuff, like going into like a Hello Kitty store. Like it's kind of shocking. The fact that it's contrasted like that, it also balances it out. So I don't know.
I love that.
I've yet to find any like examples of stuff that's like non-unified. But I'm sure it'll come up.
I got one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I went to United. I went to the artist supply
Mhm.
block party they had, and there was this lady at the one table, and you know, it was her table for demonstrations, and she was wearing all black from head to toe. And, she was a witch. Like she was talking about it. She had like this goblet thing on her, and I don't remember what term for it and all that. And she's explaining to this 80-year-old couple, like they're both like late 70s, 80s, about her rituals. And they're freaked out, and she's calm, and she's, you know, she's like, don't tell me you've never drank blood. And she was serious. And I'm like, no, never. And they're all wearing pastels and bright colors, and she's totally black.
Yeah. But like that extreme kind of contrast makes it very interesting. Like I would say that's like a successful image if you could portray that. That's something interesting that, you know.
She has this big through her nose, too, like that.
Yeah.
But the bigger it is, the more in rank they get. They do it during a ritual,
Yeah.
she say. Ranking.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, like they're looking at them like she ate them or something. They were
Yeah.
freaked out. It was cool.
Oh man.
I mean, she was being nice, but she
Yeah. I don't know if I believe. Like, I'm not about hurting animals or anything like that in any way or form. So, you know, if she does that kind of stuff, that's not.
No, she's
That's not great.
Like she was saying that they like cut themselves and they poured it into a cup. That
All right.
works for a couple.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, we talk about this maybe without everybody. I don't know if everybody's comfortable with that. But, no, you're good. Yeah. But yeah. Variety. Variety. So.
Her artwork is gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
my artwork under her table is not
I'm sure. Yeah. So with variety, I think David where every plant is kind of going in a different way, moving in a little different way. It's not all uniform. It's not just copy pasting. Some of these lines kind of mash together. Some of these lines kind of dance away. Some of these lines have different little leaves. But there's not just one solo plant without a leaf. Like, it'd be weird if there was just like one plant with leaves on the side and then the rest were all just sticks. I guess that's one way to say that he created unity in that way.
And some of his flowers are little hearts.
Yeah.
The pink one.
Oh, yeah, they do kind of form into hearts. Yeah, maybe it's intentional. But yeah, and he's got more than one type of yellow leaf. He's got this kind of deep yellow, he's got white, he's got pink. He breaks that mold of just choosing one type of flower, and he's got blues and oranges and pinks. So it's important to kind of break that variety and break that unity. I mean, that copy and paste. Even here where he's creating these amazing little bubbles or clouds in the sky here, where some of them are kind of deep, lighter blue. Some of these are even lighter. Some of these are white, but some of these are black. Where he's kind of breaking the norm of that pattern and kind of creating more variety is so much more interesting. If you're painting, let's say, a fence in front of a yard, have one kind of off kilter or crooked. That's just nature. The more you draw outside, the more you paint nature, the more that you'll see it. Something I probably need to get into my art more. All right. So that's basically the principles of design. So here they are again. You got pattern, contrast, emphasis, balance, scale, otherwise known as proportion. Something else to do with proportion is kind of like how you draw people. Let's see.
Why is he always portrayed like with the tie and the jacket and
It's probably what he wears. That's literally what he wears. I think he's just like that. Yeah, he's very British.
Even when he's at home, he's very good.
Here, I have a piece that I know of. There's the scale of superhuman things. This is also another version of scale. She's larger than the house. There's one piece though that I wanted to show her. This piece. But you can also mess around with scale and proportion. Meaning, you could have everything correct and in the right place in like a photograph. Or you can kind of exaggerate certain parts of yourself to show more importance. This is the idea of caricature. This is the idea of this more contemporary way of working, where they're blowing up the hand because he works with his hands. And that's a huge part of his work. And he's making these really massive feet here. Maybe he thinks he has big feet, or maybe he's trying to create himself like to be more grounded. There might be more reasons to, or maybe the fact that he doesn't have the fanciest shoes on. He's just got some slippers on. And he's trying to say something with that. That painting itself might be a messy thing, but I don't know. Yeah, Francis Bacon also really messed and contorted with perspective and proportions.
You notice how he looks almost like a monstrous?
Hmm.
And his painting looks perfect. Like the difference between reality and illusion.
Yeah.
Or maybe just the way he sees himself is so messed out there.
That's interesting. Yeah.
they create. They don't necessarily go out and think, I'm going to create this picture and I'm going to think of all this stuff first and then paint it. You find out when you're creating it. The only way that you can find out about all these like fun little stuff that we might be assuming is it's about or not. Yeah, it's train of thought, but it's basically through the process. Yeah, or doing a bad painting and then being like, but I liked that idea that I had from that bad painting, and then going off with that idea and doing another one. And the more you do that, the better it gets. You kind of build on to your own work. All right. Well, that's it for today's lesson. Today's gonna be kind of free paint day, free draw day. So if you're gonna be painting, I have tablecloths. I'll kind of say now that you can kind of, let's see, where are we at? There we go. If you guys want to have that challenge, try to move around those elements. Try to erase big things, move things around, blow things up, shrink them down, and try to draw in silhouette. Avoid using lines. So just outlines of things, either dark figures or light figures, whatever stands out in front or behind. This is a really good way of working. Yeah. So have a story from the last week, something exciting you did on the weekend, or something, a location or something. And again, you don't need to draw faces. You don't need to draw that well, but stick figures such as circle, body, arm, leg.
Or you
And you can just kind of thicken it up sometimes.
were going to tell us how we can protect everything's made up with the charcoal. Or
Right. So once you're all done with the drawing, you got two options. You got one, you could either rip out a piece of paper and have it in front of your piece, so that can protect it. Or you can have this. This is the fixative. This is the expensive stuff, so you can spray it inside. If you have the cheap stuff, take it outside, spray it, and do it at a distance, maybe a foot or more, and just kind of spritz. Let it settle, and then you should be mostly good. It's not perfect, so if you wanted to put, paper towel on top or something, you can. But working like this is a rough draft. This is how I like to use charcoal. Kind of rough draft it, and then if you want to, you could even take this little rough draft, turn it into color on your paint paper. But I would say just kind of focus around shapes and silhouettes. Questions, guys?
Do you want to use the charcoal, or do you want to, what do you want to use?
I'd say play around with the charcoal. It can be very liberating to kind of play around with things. And
I think it's like really cool. I love this, but I think it's, so when I went there, they have like expensive stuff, right? Like expensive paint markers. And I was going to buy those, but then I left it out, and a lot of artists said that these Sharpie paint markers, the one artist said that these are the best he's found. Like, you gotta see how cool these are. I mean, they were like $10.83.
They're watercolor?
No, they look like they're solid. I have a container. I was thinking how cool. And then the white goes right over it. It's really cool. And for $10.83, it doesn't bleed all the way through.
Oh yeah. Yeah, these are like acrylic. Yeah, these are pretty sweet. How much were these?
$10.83 Amazon. I get a lot of stuff on Amazon.
Yeah. Pretty sweet.
And I wanted the paint markers. You know, they had Liquitex,
Yeah,
and
these
then they had
Posca.
Posca. The Posca were, I found it for half the price of them at the art supply warehouse on Amazon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Posca markers are sweet because they can be so thick and big.
yeah.
And if you're working larger scale, or even smaller scale with that material, it's really quite fun. You have some charcoal
I've heard, yeah.
face.
You can get it on, yeah.
Really kind of on the side there.
I'll use my phone and the camera.
Okay,
And,
okay. I'm sure I got something on myself too.
you're pretty good. I
That's
just over my face, yeah. But they have these in different sizes, I think, too. But I wanted Posca, actually, but then I thought, well, look for text ones are sweet. The new ones have out, the paint markers.
All right. Cool. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I spent hours at their demonstration tables, like, oh, I'm ready to sign this by now.
Okay. Oh, yes. Look, you just dropped something there. Oh, right here.
Then I bought Daniel's good stuff from them, so they're happy.
Oh yeah. They're like, we like you.
I remember this from last time, too, when I bought merch. I love the stuff I got. Oh, yeah, I got the cylinder. Your block party was a blast, so they had the cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so nice, like you could just sit there as long as you wanted, play with it. Oh, it's called Google Health now. Google Health, so that's the one that was here, but they did this one.
Wow.
They
That's
changed
uh-huh.
the name.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why they did it.
Man, that's sad. Oh. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I had a cat that just looked kind of
Okay,
big.
but how do I
It's
get
funny
it
for
off?
such a fat looking cat, you didn't think that.
That sharp here step. It says this. Go back, steps.
So I want you to make your own map. So the theme is a moment of fascination or excitement. Just from the last week in charcoal,
It's right there.
play around, moving around, and just with shape, shadows and lights. Something that you experienced, your own experiences. And of course, take a break anytime.
Disconnect
You're
the
very close to figures.
Yeah, I'm trying to practice how to do stick thing.
That's a great practice.
The guy I drew,
All right.
his eyes,
Yes.
it's not proportionate.
It's not his eyes. I think that's okay. It's this is head. It should go back more.
It looks like rain, just like sloppy rain.
It's simple. If you want me to,
Here, you can physical charcoal.
it just should just. I think it's because it should be going off the page. Probably should go up.
Oh, the head
And it
needs
goes
to be
all the way back
bigger.
here. Yeah.
It looks like there's a forceps baby.
It's close. It's close. I can see the face. This is like not wrong. This is pretty good.
This one is device. I want to turn it off. I don't want to disconnect it.
I was gonna draw that like fertility with the style stick figures. I figured it out. It's like Shaggy's been thinking like sun, ocean, and with his yeah.
I can do a simpler landscape and show you.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, this is very chaotic. This is a very crazy scene. There's a lot going on.
I don't care. Why don't you like that?
Oh no, I'll show it up here.
Oh, this is cool.
So somebody in my other class were like, "Oh, let me just get this. Okay. So let's just say we had a landscape. Let's start with the horizon. And let's say we were outside. I don't even know where yet, but I can just kind of start with the sky. The sky's always going to have something in it. So I can kind of start with that. Blend it out, smooth it out. The sky is always smooth. If I was to add anything in the sky, you know, I could say there's a cloud. I could erase away a cloud because clouds are lighter than the sky. They're white usually. Sometimes they're also like darker too. So maybe I'll kind of add a little shadow underneath.
Oh, like whiskey glass.
Yeah. And of course, I'm totally unafraid to get out of my canvas, out of my little box. And I can, you know, change things up. Maybe I want to have the ground be even lower. You know? Alright, now I need to think about where I'm at. Is there an ocean?
Yeah. Crashing waves.
Crashing
Like,
waves.
Like the ones they had last weekend.
Sure. So maybe I'll have the waves kind of be up here. This will be all kind of water area, so it will be a little bit darker. There we go. And
Oh, nice resin.
let's say there's some rocks or something, and I could kind of add some crashing waves up here. And can't quite see the waves up here, so maybe okay. So there's a nice crashing wave there. And if I made
made the sky a little bit darker, then I could see the waves crashing even more. About that contrast. Think about that contrast. There we go. There we go. Now I can see that the wave crashing. That looks good. And I'm gonna get a big old rock here. Make it big and dark. Again, see I'm kind of focusing on the big forms. Not really focused on the outline first. I'm just focused on jumping right in, doing those big forms.
Well, that's gorgeous. Alright, wow.
I can add some little rocks here.
Have you ever heard of Snow Cabin?
Yeah,
Cause they have a thing
that.
where
Uh-huh.
the painting, I know that, I think that Tesla one's supposed to be fairly basic. I probably would put that down into each one, but I know that the Tesla one, like, is decent, like. But most of the artists, I mean, impression on the other side, they can't do the complicated stuff, so.
Well, they probably can, but yeah, the complicated stuff they don't teach. So I can get the reflections in the water there, just kind of get some highlights.
We had people like taking the canvas and throwing it in the garbage in front of the artist.
That's happened to me. There's also just people who do regularly, like if they just go there regularly. Like I did that job. That was me. I did that for 2 years. I worked at a place just like Pino's Palette. There we go.
Yeah, but you would have been able to show them how to do it.
With this?
Yeah, or like any of it, like
Sure.
maybe you have the technical skill to break it down and show them how to actually do that in class. Like the people that have it, they were kind of young. I don't think they have the technical, like they weren't able to show people how to do it.
Right. Excuse me. Add a bit of a shadow here.
I think the problem was is the owner of the business here, the paintings that they were going to teach. And she probably should let the artists pick a painting that they want to teach.
Uh-huh.
And
I can get more light here. Maybe there's a sun or something. I can get kind of these. Now, this kind of contrast here. I can get more shadow in the sky. You can get some highlights in those clouds there. Just like last week, I was talking about, you know, that middle tone, shadow, highlight. Doing the same thing here with the clouds. Yeah. There we go. And a little bit of emphasis. I'll kind of create some sun rays. course, it's a little boring, so I'll throw in a figure.
And then just as you go down, make the branches spread.
And to show scale, I'll draw that figure really small.
Oh, cool. So you're going down to the cliff.
Yeah,
walking in the
basically.
And feathery.
See, I thought about scale there.
Oh, I like it. That's cool.
Oh, see that?
And maybe I'll have 2 people down there.
You need to make it curve. Yes, like that. Make it curve. Then you have a more natural look to it. Mhm.
Very peaceful. Still feels boring. I think it's just a flat horizon. I'm just kind of like
More big waves. Like it's like a
another one, maybe over here. I don't know. Bigger. You just kind of go through it. More rhythm. Variety.
You see how it looks soft and
How about harmony? Is that just like put one more like on the other side where there's really political, where it's like really serene and quiet.
you got it, girl.
And we have the distance coming towards them.
I feel like it needs more contrast.
Yeah. And then just spread it out a little bit more in the bottom, the lower knees. Yes, from then on, and curve it. And curve it.
Maybe more balance. Maybe I'll get rid of this rock here. Simplify the rock, maybe. Here.
Didn't say so much better. Predatory. I charge by the hour. See, you just need to get the technique down. But you gotta
Maybe I'll start the waves lower.
you use this one. Look at my bumblebee. I think that was the number 8. It was one of those where they did a number and not at all.
It's so cool drawing with charcoal because it's just like
I like charcoal.
you can kind of just
It's just so messy.
you can yeah.
You put a jump at your palm on it.
It's very forgiving and it seems to have a mind of its own.
As does everything.
It has a mind of its own.
What if I just did a big crushing wave like this, or right here and right here? More crashing waves.
See, now there's more excitement because that wave's getting closer to the people.
Maybe I'll have a crashing waves over here.
Okay, I'm going to show you how to make your mind. Just from scratch. Okay, so you got your tree here, right? Okay. Okay, now for the mountain, you have to put it on its side again. Okay, and look at me.
I kind of like adding a whole bunch of people.
Just, you're pushing.
That's kind of interesting.
Especially when you're riding the waves.
Yeah.
And they're watching and they
Yeah.
Get the
they
mountain
don't think
big
it's
now,
gonna be
so that you get a
usually
bigger
it's a
mountain.
magic or should I use the big one?
No, not that big one. Here.
And the way the people are so tiny, the way it's so big.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like,
Yeah, but look at this. See?
This is crazy. This is a crazy image.
How much are they?
I kind of like it.
yeah. It's gonna be strong thoughts in the background though.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Storm clouds. Because he brought up another artist and he does these storm clouds like this, like that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like storm clouds for sure.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
And suddenly this is exciting.
Oh, it's so exciting. This good call.
Little
Lightning? Maybe. Maybe that's too extreme. See, I'm just adding more shape in there. There's maybe a big dramatic line here. The sewing machine? No. Yeah. Yeah.
You're taking like, you're creating something. There's a lot of, even bolting when they do pictures, sometimes they do pictures out of like different colored cloths.
Uh-huh.
But now you have your mountain, so you want to do this guy here, the bottom of your mountain. So that's your mountain here, okay? So you just push,
I like it.
Yeah.
Now it's speaking to me.
and you have,
Is it okay if I take a picture of it? I don't want if you don't want me to.
Sure.
yes, there you, and then.
Maybe take a picture of it, the actual thing.
Same thing, just like what you
Oh my
did,
God, I
and
gotta
then
get
get it in.
It looks different on the TV.
And then the other side this way.
Oh, that looks better. That is so cool. I want to get your hand in there. There we go. That is cool.
And this little guy here,
Just mess around.
trying to,
Interesting things happen when you just mess around. I like it.
Yeah, that's really good.
they're just little babies. They're like little babies who just make a general figure of the tree. It's nothing, it's just a gesture.
Like you're playing, I'm just playing myself, so I hope that you get
It's
to
a
play.
gesture of the tree. Well, yeah, but this is a lot.
Good.
Yeah, so, once I mentioned that, I did one of those, to suggest more. Now, this one you need to put a mound for your tree. A mound. Yeah, where the tree is, and then hold it like this, because if you do that, you're gonna get harsh. Yes, you want that style to make your mound. Okay? Just roll it. There you go. Yeah, because if you do it, that's the good thing, is that it's very replaceable, it's very portable. Okay, so take a scratch paper and just practice your water. Practice making your waves. Practice making your waves and then make your waves over. Those are like really big waves. Let's see if you can do it. Okay, more like small ones, but not sharp, not this, because that looks so artificial. But using the side and just make it smaller.
Fingers crossed. No one's using it right now. This one.
From down and then
This book. Okay, cool, I can borrow it. Nice. So this one showcases it really well. I'll share it online too.
because you want, you see, these are not pointy ones, they're just like lumpy. So,
Yeah.
they're more
So
a smaller,
let's see.
kind of like
So this is like high key, where you're trying to keep things really bright and light. Like even if there's dark shadows, you keep them light still. They're very minorly adding in the darker stuff, but yeah, right, right. Here, this is a great book. This book is like really expensive online. Like if you try to buy it, but it's free on this website.
Oh, the archives?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, it's beautiful.
that's like 2 ways.
Have you heard of
Just
Oscar K markers?
Mm-hmm.
That were like, they're for $12.53 at $2.
without making a
Oscar
wave.
for like 8 of them.
Okay, just draw lines without thinking of making it a straight line.
And they're normally like $37.17.
Okay, where is it? Sequence, mechanics. This is a good book. Oh, here. Trying to find, where did I see it?
How about this one?
Okay.
more wavy, long and then short. See, I love that. But don't hold it tight, it has to be flat. So it's gonna come out hard instead of soft, not soft. So you have to, yes, hold it flat and then it's the paper. Wow.
This guy's awesome.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
Trying to find.
I forgot how much I loved art history. Yeah, you should take it in like college and it's been so many years since I went back to it.
I'm gonna try to find something. Can I search something? Okay, cool. What's it called?
Cedric, your stuff is gorgeous out, really. I'm like so impressed. I am too. Oh, she. I got you. She's impressed with herself. You have to learn somehow, you know? It's okay.
Here. Okay, yeah, here it is. Okay. Here, I found what I was looking for here. So, yeah, this is a good example. Okay, I just looked right past it. So, basically, low-key painting, like here. This is something that's very, very bright, and only minor dark shadow, kind of showcasing just like a single moment. Yeah. And all those shadows that you see, basically that's all they're painting is a very light valued color. Whereas here, yeah, and then here, it's opposite. Everything's leaning towards that dark value. But then only on certain parts that you really want to emphasize. So it's about emphasis. Think about that one thing that you want to showcase. That's going to be extremely light. So both of these paintings are, like this is all very bright except for that one thing where it's really dark. There's probably an important scene going on here. Yeah, they're very graphic people. They are just as much as stick figures really, except they have bigger, wider bodies and a small head. But yeah, this is a Web on Watercolor. It's a really great book. But you do have to borrow it. So if I'm looking at it right now, then you can't. But if I return it, you can look at it. So this is the archive one. So it's like an online library. Yeah. Yeah. This whole way of thinking, of kind of making things darker rather than outlining, he's playing around with that value idea. I kind of touched on this with my drawings today, but kind of focusing more on those values changing to have things stand out rather than the lines Yeah. It's interesting how he uses it. Kind of. It's what you call it in watercolor is pushing and pulling in value. So it's like you're pushing things back with shadow, pulling things out with highlights. It all comes down to value, and charcoal is a great way to kind of experiment with that, with the erasing and the painting. Watercolor can do that too. You can kind of pull things out, but cool. Here, I'll return this if you want to look at it.
Make a circle.
But I always think of that high key and the low key. It's always in my head whenever I go to an art museum. Yeah, because you'll see it like all. Yeah.
That's really big. That's too big. I'm doing it 10 squares. It's charcoal because it's easier to erase the charcoal.
This one has 17 key principles. What the heck? Proximity? Oh, we forgot about movement. Just we're gonna talk about movement. That's the thing. Yeah. Is it too late? Should I talk about it? Yeah, it's late. Okay. Okay. No. It doesn't say rhythm in here. What the? Oh, so there's movement. I totally passed by it. Okay, so movement. Now, some things about movement. Here. Yeah.
Just officially released his first album. And
Really?
got played on the radio, local radio in Seattle, Friday.
Wow.
Super excited.
That's so cool. What's it called? I'll check it out.
It's called Ultraviolet Catastrophe. I know.
Cool.
And there's other bands named Ultraviolet, but is it just brothers on me? It's it is without being like a harsh Is it like a no. It's
There they are. I think so. One of them.
He is the one who was like or something. No, that's not.
No?
I know I have so many different
Oh.
it's always hard to but yes, one of the songs which I some of the chart goes to me. She did that. Right? This was
Exit, enter.
is the name of the there it is. And if you say every song connect the last worst of me, worst of me is the one I love the most. It's my baby.
Cool. Oh.
That's my son. Is it famous? It's a song and he played the that's why I'm using this song.
Okay. I did want to talk about one principle I forgot to talk about. So, sorry to interrupt anybody getting comfortable with the silence. But,
I copied it off your chart.
Oh goodness. Okay, so movement. Like let's say I really want to look at this. There's an artist Giacomo. Sounds so bad. Alberto Giacometti, I think. Wait, no.
Just the name sounds really
Bala. Here it is. Giacomo Bala. Here he is. He is the artist of motion, and I think the best artists to truly understand motion are animators. Animators are artists who focus on movement. Now, this is a painter focusing on movement. This is Giacomo Balla, and he did this painting of a dog and its owner walking. Now, this feels like movement. Now, no human being that I know of has this many legs. No doggy dog has this many legs, but he draws them multiplied many times, somewhat transparent. You can kind of see the color of the background. You can kind of see that moving around. You can see, he's got a tail wagging and everything. You see this with, nature, with trees moving. There's also artists who will visually make things move. There's something called op art. So that's when, let's see, who's the artist? Let me see. Bridget Riley. Here she is. Bridget Riley. She's the one. She's the best. So optical art is when optical illusions make your eyes kind of dance. So looking at this piece here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is not moving at all. This is not animated. But because these contrasting lines dance so much, it hurts your eyes, doesn't it? I'll keep it up, whatever. They vibrate against each other because they have those opposites, right? So we see this throughout space. She's inspired by nature, actually. Next time you go for a walk, look at bushes or trees and see how all the plants kind of visually bump into each other, right? They're overlapping and overlapping and overlapping. That's kind of what she's looking at. Or maybe you're seeing it on fences, when you're walking by fences and everything's overlapping. That's kind of what she's being inspired by and recreating visually. But animators, this is such a good example. This is so easy. Thank you, Google. This is also a free book on Archive. But you can kind of see animators, when they create motion, they'll literally stretch and pull their little cartoon characters. But even if they're just kind of being surprised, going like, whoa, like they have bones and stuff probably, and they shouldn't be stretching that much, but between these animated panels, they're stretching and pulling because when it's all plays together, it's really seamless, and that's kind of how our brain works. Try this. Get your hand and shake it. Okay, look at your hand. You can't see your hand. You can't see how many fingers you have. I could have 3 fingers. You would never know. We as humans, when things are moving very quickly, we can't see that stuff. So when we're drawing things that are moving very quickly, it should be a blur. You should not be able to see those edges. One of the biggest things I see in beginning artists when they want to create motion is like they'll search up running human man. And they that's a great way to create motion. Yeah. Also, yeah. So those are some great examples. So we saw Giacomo Balla. Yes.
A good example of two different styles. The original Snow White and Disney, they use a rotoscope and copy every picture they took.
Right.
And then we jump to another Disney movie and see where they got out of that and switched to try it and they put Pluto.
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, and AI is still kind of learning how to do it too. AI doesn't understand the ideas of animation. Shoot, I'm not recording this. I'll share the artist.
Yeah, they said like with a lot of the actors who are better now is that these data of like Val Kilmer, they licensed AI to use his image now, and it's gonna animate him like instead of using a live actor, they're gonna put him in some of these pictures and movies and stuff. So that they're sometimes what ex-wife Robin Wright, she did a whole movie on that. It was like a horror movie, like where they took when she needed money, she sold her image rights to this company, and then instead of employing her as she gets old and withered and all that, as she ages, they're still using her image in these movies, acting because AI can move the image around, and it's like 40, 50 years down the road, she's not getting a penny from it, and they still have her acting, but she no longer has any rights over what they have her image do, and yeah, when she needed some money, and apparently that's what they're looking for right now. She made this a few years ago, and I'm sorry, what? No, it's one of those things like she was like maybe 40 or something, and she needed money, so she sold it, and that's all the money she gets, and they've been using it like 30, 40, she's in her 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and they're still portraying her as 40, but she no longer makes any money off like all the movies. They're making money off her image, and she no longer has any rights to it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. Hey guys. This is so interesting. It's so much better, right? Oops, sorry. Sorry guys, are you guys interested in this? Okay. Really interesting. animation is a wild subject. There's a whole book on it. This is a pretty good series. I might watch this. But yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, like literally listening to this, I'm just like, I think this would probably really help my what's it called? Caricature artwork. Next class we're gonna go to the museum, and then after that, I'm just a week ahead. I haven't gotten there. Yeah, it's on the syllabus.
Are you gonna do a lot more with charcoal?
Yeah, we'll do some charcoal stuff, but yeah, we'll kind of be bouncing back and forth.
We're supposed to bring in some photos, so that's probably.
Oh, right. Yeah, we'll probably use the screens. I have some examples, or use your phones. All right, I'll send out an email. I'll explain further. Yeah.
You say the golden hour, is that,
Sunset, kind of the last 2 hours of the day.